When do you feel most like yourself, most authentic, like walls down, I
Oh,
can just be? When is that?
two cocktails in.
Sometimes we need a little bit of, that relaxed
Right.
inhibition. Welcome to Reframe and Reclaim. We are Courtney Huckabee, a psychotherapist,
and Jen Harris, an interior designer who have teamed up
to reflect,
challenge,
and reframe your mindset in relationship with your personal belongings.
Join us as we discuss and declutter all of the stuff that keeps us stuck.
Learn to intentionally create environments with improved function and design that cultivate peace of mind. Find the reframe.
Start your reclaim.
Welcome back to Reframe and Reclaim. I am Courtney Huckabee.
And I'm Jen Harris.
And today we're talking about August. We're getting ready for the fall. And did you know that August is Self-Awareness Month?
I did not know that.
Yes. So self-awareness is a really important thing. And I think with our book, Reframe and Reclaim, there's a lot of self-reflection. There's a lot of thinking through things and, just getting better understanding of ourselves. We all can find a lot of attachment and sentimentality with our belongings. And so finding out more about ourself can be really helpful and healthy. And so I thought we should dive a little deeper.
Yeah, I like that it's August too. I didn't know that, but that's a good check-in point because usually you just think New Year's, right? And New Year's resolutions and that kind of thing. But I like that it's a mid-year kind of checkpoint. Seasons are changing. You're about to go back to school, or maybe you're going off to college, or starting something new. So yeah, I think it's a good time for some self-awareness.
Yeah. So when you think of self-awareness, how would you define self-awareness, or how do you practice that?
Self-awareness month is every month in my in my head. No, to me it's just all about self-reflection, and just thinking about what's important to me. I feel like I'm doing that more and more now, as things feel more chaotic sometimes, and from
True.
exterior pressures and exterior forces. I find myself really being more internal and self-reflective on what I can control, what influence I have, and who and what I want in my surroundings and in my daily life. So
That sounds very, very healthy.
it's mentally exhausting, but
It is a lot of work. It is a lot of work. And honestly, the self-awareness, it can be really challenging in our current day and culture. There's always what is expected of me. There's the excitement of the entertainment. Things are pulling our attention. So kind of taking our attention from out here in here, it does take some time to kind of sit and think and just be by yourself or having these conversations. And a little bit of that self-awareness is actually in our book too.
yes.
So I want to reference our book for this because being a mental health therapist, a lot of times we really want to make sure we're talking about, how am I feeling? What am I needing in life? Who am I having in my life that's helpful and supportive? And what are some things I need to change in my life that can be more healthy for me? So I love that you talk about what I can and can't control. But one of the things that we have in our book here, just referencing our book, is part of things that bring us joy. And that is a lot about who we are and what we desire in life, and what is maybe helping bring us joy, and maybe what is taking away from us feeling that joy. So some of the questions we have is what brings you joy in life? So for you, Jen, what brings you joy?
One of my favorite things is sitting on a patio somewhere with friends hanging out.
Ditto. I built a patio on my house just for that.
It's
And
my favorite things.
I will say being outside in nature is huge for me. I really love just sitting in the breeze, sitting under some trees, hearing the birds in the morning. That brings me some calmness and contentment, and I love doing that.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the things I found in our new home is we have a large backyard and it backs up to a creek, and there's lots of big trees, and we get lots of birds flying in, which is really nice. But then at nighttime, the cicadas are just super loud this time of year. So last night we opened up the windows and just heard, all the cicadas. And even with the windows shut, it's wow, it's so loud. But it's really nice just to have have something different, have that little bit of nature there.
Yeah. Yeah. I also love travel. Like I love to experience new places. I love to learn about other cultures. I love, trying to learn other languages. So I love, just diversity and experiencing new things and including my son and other people with me if I can.
Yes, we've traveled together lots, so we have a good time.
Yeah. Another question is, what are some of your deepest values? That kind of goes back to, what starts to bring us joy, but what are you valuing personally? What's something that's really important to you in life?
For me, I did do one of those value tests, and happiness was my number one value.
Really?
So,
and I think bringing joy and happiness and contentment in life is really important for a lot of people.
yeah. And for me, that's really from, from my father passing away. So I really took on this mentality of life is too short.
Right.
Enjoy it. If, don't make space or time for people who don't make space and time for me, and just making sure I am surrounding myself with people that bring me joy, bring me happiness, and add to my life, don't withdraw from my life. So
I love that. And sometimes it's really hard in life.
is.
We have people in our lives that we think, oh, I'm supposed to be connected with them. I can't say that I don't want to be around them. But creating some really healthy boundaries. I know, heard lots of times from clients like these relationships I feel obligated to. And so really finding, some better awareness of how to navigate those relationships that are more challenging.
Yeah.
Creating boundaries or, creating different relationships and support if that's not happening.
And I would say one of a big learning for me just in my lifetime is, I don't think people are meant to be there for the entire span of your life sometimes. Some people are just there for certain chapters to help you learn something or to get you through something, and that's okay. You don't have to, you're not obligated to, or you shouldn't feel guilt if, you slip away from a relationship from someone. And I found like the best relationships are the ones where we don't talk and then can pick right back up, right? Because sometimes life happens, you get busy.
Life happens, and I have so many friends and family members, across the United States, some internationally, and when you have a chance to like send a quick text message or have a phone call or, every few years we're like getting together for the weekend. I think those are the friendships that they understand. Not every day can I spend, talking on the phone for hours, and I can't always afford a trip to the Maldives. I want to afford a trip to the Maldives.
Who do you know in the Maldives?
I don't, but we want to go there. We want to go there, all of us. But I think it is one of those things of, understanding life chapters and different people having different obligations and challenges and experiences in life. Giving compassion to them for that, but also finding your own happiness when they are there, and then also finding ways to be happy when they aren't there too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. I think one of my deepest values, and I've done a lot of these assessments, I love justice. So I love things to be fair if they can. Things aren't always fair, but I think that's a really big thing for me in counseling is I want people to have a voice. I want to help people advocate for themselves. I want people to find assertiveness and learning how to like stand up for what they believe and what they want and what's just for them. And I think that children and adults and, people of all different ethnicities and things, like we need to learn from each other and, kind of approach each other with something that, what can you teach me or learn from me, and being able to give and take in those relationships, which is, those relational things.
Yes. And just out of curiosity, in your practice, do you find that more people are passive and don't want to have confrontation, or more people confrontational and want to?
I think a lot of people are very avoidant. So there's a lot of different ways to handle situations, but I think there's a lot of intimidation, or if maybe I'm intimidated by that stronger personality. Maybe I'm intimidated because they're in a different like position than I am. I don't feel like I have the right to speak up. So there's a lot of avoidance or timidity. But, finding ways to approach those situations, whether it's a hierarchy of, job and relationship to management, or if it's a child and a parent, even so, learning how to approach things, or adult parents, being an adult and approaching your own parent with boundaries you have with, your life and your lifestyle or your children and things like that. There are some people that are very aggressive in life, but they're usually not the ones always coming into counseling. But I have had clients who, they're like, this is how it is and this is what I need, and I'm always helping coach them to take perspective and to try to learn more healthy communication. But finding that aggressive, that passive or avoidant, and finding that assertive right in the middle is really challenging, because some people think that assertive voice is aggressive, and it really isn't. It's just uncomfortable sometimes, unless you practice it, and then it becomes really more comfortable.
Interesting tidbit there.
Yeah, we can talk for days about that. Come on in the office. No. Number 3, what makes you feel great about yourself? This is that self-awareness. What makes you feel good about you? Some good self-reflection here.
I know. Makes you feel good about yourself. I always miss, so my favorite mornings that would make me feel really good is I would get up kind of early and I'd go for a run and then come home, shower, breakfast and all that, and then take a nap. And I would feel so good.
So getting some exercise.
So self-care, exercise, and just feeling and also it gets me that dopamine hit of I did something, check it.
And the endorphins. The endorphins added with the dopamine, added with I'm being healthy. I mean, it's hard to top.
I did my run, I'm good. Now I can relax and take a nap, and I would always feel really well rested.
That task and reward.
Yeah.
So we have the dopamine, we have the endorphins, plus I did something that was healthy for me. Now I can relax. I love that.
One day I'll get back to that.
Yeah. So for you, what makes you feel great about you is that activity.
Yes.
Taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, what makes me feel great, and again, I'm not saying I feel great about this all the time, is I really focus a lot on being the best mom I can. I really try to be a good mom, have fun, love my kid, but also have, some healthy discipline. And I'm in that phase of life currently. And a lot of my clients, whether they're educators, I do a lot of outside of the office education for organizations, or if they're parents in the office, just helping them to find that balance. There's no real right and wrong way of parenting, but finding things that you feel good. I did that and I still feel good about doing that. And I also love helping people. So counseling is a really great avenue for me to kind of feel good about helping others. So I like that. Yeah. When do you feel most like yourself? Most authentic, walls down, I can just be. When is that?
2 cocktails in.
Sometimes we need a little bit of, that relaxed inhibition.
Again, it's kind of just sitting out on a patio, hanging out with friends. It's kind of my...
Are there certain people you can feel more like yourself with?
Yeah, I mean, my close circle of friends, but really, if we're hanging out on the patio together, we're there already. So to me, I feel like the people I keep close know me, so yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think I definitely feel most like myself with, like you said, the people who know me the best. And some of those people I spend more time with, and some I spend less time with. Jen is one of those people for me, have had a lot of life together.
Yes, we have.
But I think it is really important for you to kind of think of when do I put my walls up? When do I feel like I have to mask or show up a certain way, not just me. And thinking about that might be something for good self-awareness of who are you spending time with, or what brings out that for you? Is it the patio? Is it painting? Is it certain music? Is it, when I'm, doing certain activities, or maybe when you're just by yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just do a couple more. What's on your bucket list?
Traveling.
Any certain locations, destinations?
I want to hit all continents, all 7 continents.
Okay. Yeah. How far are you in so far?
3.
3. Nice.
3 out of 7.
3 out of 7. There are 7.
Go I live in one, so
Hey, you got that one covered. Yeah. My bucket list. I used to have a travel bucket list. I think I'm still on that. I've done a lot of international travels when I was younger, before I was married and had a kid. Now I'm trying to do a lot more domestic travel with my kid, because I've seen a lot of countries, but I haven't seen a lot of states. So
I've seen a lot of states because we road tripped a lot as kids. I've done a lot of international as well, but it's mainly been to the same places over and over again for work, so I want to expand.
yeah, I think also at this chapter of life, we're kind of midlifers. We're kind of the focus isn't always on bigger and more. So even with my business and counseling, like, I'm really happy and content with where things are. But when I was younger, I was like, maybe one day I will write a book. And then we did.
Oh.
Maybe one day I will be self-employed, and I am. But I think more of it is more of like the daily things, quality time, finding that happiness, balance in life, not working to live, but, making sure that I have that time where I can enjoy life. So if you were to walk around your home, what clues does your home reveal about what is important or you love in life?
Oh.
So if you were in your home, this is a great self-evaluation, self-awareness. In your home, what reflects you? What reflects the things that are important to you? What reflects the things that you enjoy that reflect you and your home?
It's so funny, like, going through these questions, because we wrote this book together, and, like, we wrote all these questions before, and I'm like, ooh, that's a good question.
We came up with a good one. You should buy the book.
Right. For me, right now, if you walk through a house, because it is a total renovation gut job right now, tools are everywhere, but you would see that customizing a space, an environment to be functional for our needs is a high value and a high objective of mine. So I think that would be self-reflective of that.
Well, and I mean, not to assume, but also you've chosen to do this renovation a lot DIY.
Yes.
And so I think a really important thing, I know she's so handy, a really important thing I think is, like, I can do things and I have a vision for this and I want to see that. Like, so the vision for the functionality, for the aesthetics of this. And being an interior designer, I think that's so amazing that you can take your vision and creativity and put it into, like, a real outcome. And I'm so excited to see what happens. I know, me too.
And part of it is a little bit of impatience, right? Because it's like, I don't have to wait for someone's schedule so they can come out and do it. I was like, just give me a hammer and let's start demoing. So
that's so brave, so wonderful.
I do think if I was born like 10 years later, because I was turning like in my early 20s, right, as like DIY was really getting big and coming out. I think if I was born like 10 years later, I probably would have gone to trade school instead of interior design, because I like doing the hands-on stuff so much. I like the vision as well, but I really like the instant gratification. I like the doing, the creating, and the executing. So
cool. Very cool.
Yeah. But society at that time was like, no. It just wasn't seen a lot. So I was like, I'll do interior design.
Yeah, some of the influence we had.
Yeah. How about you?
For me, things around my home, lots of...
TCU. No.
TCU. Go Frogs. So I would say there is a lot of, like, pictures and stuff. So we have a digital photo frame that is my favorite gift ever. I love photos, but I'm not really big on printing photos and putting them in albums. But we have this digital photo frame that just, like, rotates all of our photos. It's my favorite thing in my home. But the other things in my home, how does it reflect me? There's a lot of, I'm a Christian, so there's a lot of scripture in my home, things from, just like things that we've gotten for my son and for our wedding and just things like that. So I guess the spirituality, that connection I have with a higher level. And then we have a lot of people in my home. So we host a lot. Yeah. So I would say, like, we have a really big dining room table and we have really big couches and we have a patio that has furniture on it. So maybe that says something about, love community, love connecting with people.
Yeah, it's very inviting.
Oh,
You always have a
thank
place to
you.
sit.
Yeah.
It's like Cheers.
Having,
Everybody knows your name.
always having a chair to sit in. So lots of seating in my house. And we have bar stools and, different things like that. Extra tables to put on the patio in our garage. So probably hosting and
Yes.
and connecting and being with people, which brings me happiness.
Yes. There you go. On a patio.
On our patio, yes. So a couple more questions, for you to think about, that we didn't go through ourselves is, how do you know when you are being completely authentic? When did you last feel that way? What desires keep tugging at your heart? Maybe those thoughts or desires that keep coming up that you can't quite quiet. Maybe I need to tap into that a little bit more.
Yeah, and like for one thing for me, like when I was a little bit younger, it was really like I want to travel. And it was like in order to do that, I needed to not eat out as much or I needed not go shopping as much.
Yes.
But by decreasing this, I got to do what I really wanted to do. So that's self-awareness.
Yeah, so that self-awareness of, the cost value of this. So is it worth it for me to go get that coffee, or is it worth it for me to bring coffee from home or drink at the office so I can save up for that outfit or, that trip to the Maldives one day.
Yes.
One day.
We'll go together.
Deal. Bucket list. And then what is missing from your life? What is missing from your world? And then what would you regret not doing, not being, or having in your life? So these are just some quick questions that are really deep to get you a little bit more aware of yourself. And I think it's really great for us to always have time to sit back, kind of reflect where you're at in life, how you're feeling in life, who you're connecting with in life, what I need in my life, and then how to get there. And then if you need some more help on how to reframe that mindset or how to get a little bit more information of yourself, this book, if you go through these steps, the 7 steps to reframe your relationship with your stuff, which is one way to kind of have more self-awareness. We're not only the writers of those books, but we're also clients.
That's right.
It's been a really great strategy for us to put into practice, and we continue to do it. But this is a great place to start, too.
And I'll say also check the comments below, and we'll give you a list of those questions so you can go back and reference those.
Yep.
If you're doing some self-reflection, you can always journal about it to answer them. That's kind of how the book started. It was me journaling about my relationship with my belongings and self-awareness. Right. You could also pull up the questions with your partner or on a patio somewhere with your friends and get to know each other better and just have fun with it.
Yeah. So until next time, we'll see you later.
So good luck this August with Self-Awareness Month, and we'll see you next time.
Bye. Thanks for listening to us with Reframe and Reclaim at our podcast. If you are interested in more information about our book, you can find our book at any online retailer. You can also find us at reframe-reclaim.com.